leadership. Sustainable leadership. It's an effort to do two things. One, to not burn you out as leaders, but then the second thing is to raise up new leaders. And so when you see this with, like Charlie's a great example of this. He's made a commitment to speak 3 of the 4 Sundays in a month. And the reason he does this, one, he gets one of those off, if you will. And so he gets to avoid some of that. I'm speaking every single week and writing every single week. But then the other part of it is, hey, I'm going to raise up somebody else, someone like me who gets a chance to get up front and communicate and develop that ability to speak and be in front of people. And so he's raising up new leaders, and he's helping himself out because let's say he's in Canada on vacation, right?
Cancun, baby.
Cancun. Let's say he's at Sandals on vacation, Sandals Resort. If he's spent time developing me as a communicator, it's a lot easier for him to go, all right, Kevin, you're on for this weekend because I'm going to be in Cancun, right? And it's versus I'm going to Cancun. Oh, shoot, who's going to be speaking this weekend? Should you just video me and put me in or stream me in? Right? What do we do there? And so taking this model and applying it to our community group culture. And so for us as community group leaders, beginning to prayerfully identify somebody in your group that could fill in for you. Now that doesn't mean that you have to be gone. It doesn't mean you have to go to Cancun. You can, right? But what if the off chance that something happens or you're sick, whatever. You've taken the time to identify a person or a couple to step in that leadership role for you once a month. And they'll take a little bit of training on the front end because it's not just, hey, why don't you take these questions and facilitate the discussion. As community group leaders, you do much more than just facilitate discussion. You're in a position where you're speaking life into and you're wanting everyone in your group to walk away that week challenged to grow spiritually. Yeah. I could let anybody in my group lead discussion, but I know there's a leader in each group that's focused on that piece of it. And so you're beginning to open up their insight a little bit about what does it mean to be a group leader. And so once a month you kind of begin walking them through this. Right? You have to handle, you have to cast vision. Like, what do we hear? Well, we want everyone in our group to be what? Fully devoted followers of Christ. Right, so you keep casting that vision, and then there's that shared leadership. So think about, how do I say? Serve 3, sit 1, right? Serve 3, sit 1. And the way you go about developing this is step 1 is prayerfully identify who that person is or could be. And you'll look for natural signs, people who are asking those questions or kind of pulling stuff out of people or the person who's actually interested in somebody else in group. Start with that person, not the person that's just always talking about themselves. And then number 2 is set up a meeting with them and kind of cast some vision. Hey, I see this in you. Could you consider this? Would you consider, helping lead this group in this capacity? And you're not asking them to lead every week. One time a month. Start small. Maybe we'll co-lead together one time a month. And then there's the continued training. So you begin that development process. You let them lead 1 week. See how it goes, and then help train them. How do you think that went? Have that conversation with them. And this will benefit your groups as a whole because things will come up. They'll be able to step in. The ownership of the group is now shared, and that creates more buy-in from that group member. And also when somebody else leads, it brings a fresh perspective to the group. Right? You see when Charlie's a fantastic communicator, but when I'm up there, it's different, right? It's different. It's Kevin. It's a different perspective, different way to communicate. And you're going to find that out when you raise up these other leaders. They just lead a little bit differently, which is not bad.